Hello YouTube and welcome to another GV anime review, which will be my last full anime review for 2015. And for my last review of the year, I didn't want it to do anything special. Just a normal anime about cute magical girls doing cute magical things. So I watched this fairly unknown anime by the name of Puella Magi Madoka Magica. Yeah, I'm a terrible liar, ain't I? But today's review is on Puella Magi Madoka Magica, also known as Mahou Shojo Madoka Magica, and its movie Rebellion. And what a way it was to end off 2015. The story of Puella Magi Madoka Magica revolves around two friends named Kaname Madoka and Miki Sayaka. One day, a transfer student by the name of Akemi Homura gets introduced into their class, but she has this weird and dark aura around her. Later that day, Madoka and Sayaka get sucked into a dreamlike dimension, and just before they're about to get killed by the creatures there, they get saved by another girl named Tomoe Mami. Mami explains that what they had just witnessed was a witch, and that she's a Mahou Shoujo, a magical girl who fights these witches. The three soon become friends and everything seems happy. But as usual in this kind of animes, the truth is much darker. Now if you're watching this review and haven't seen Madoka yet, I only have one advice for you. Go watch it. Stop this video and don't look for any more information on this anime, because the less you know about Madoka before going into it, the greater your experience will be. So stop right now. So if you're still watching, I presume that you've seen Madoka, so I won't care about avoiding spoilers, because there's a lot of things that I need to say about this franchise. So the main positive point about Madoka is the story. The anime starts off with a very weird scene that makes you immediately realize, what the fuck am I watching? After that, the anime is like the cute magical girl anime that you expected it to be. Everything seems happy and cheerful, so that you forget that first scene. But then in the third episode, the anime makes a complete 180-degree turn when Mami's head gets bitten off by a witch at the end. If you hadn't had the feeling that this would be a fucked up anime yet, then you will definitely realize it then. And from there on, it just goes downhill all the way. How we start to discover what it really means to be a Mahou Shoujo and how fucked reality is, seeing Sayaka selling her soul and slowly but surely sliding into the abyss till the point where she turns into a witch herself. After that, when Kyoko sacrifices herself to destroy the witch that Sayaka had become, it was just all sadness throughout the entire anime. And that's this anime's biggest positive point, and the reason why it's so popular in the anime community. Animes that are so depressing and dark like Madoka are extremely rare. It's also a very daring path to take, because who said that that concept would work? But it definitely worked out. And to top it all off, there was this amazing ending, which I will get back to in a minute. Related to the story were the characters. Both the characters that I loved and that I hated were very well done. I'm going to pick out a few of them here. Starting with Homura. She made the transition from looking like an evil character who doesn't seem to care about anyone and who seems to be the antagonist of the story to a character that I can only respect. The turmoil that she has gone through for God knows how many times must have been so devastating. Seeing the one you care about die over and over again must be the worst thing ever. So at the end of the anime, I had nothing but respect for Homura. Note that I said at the end of the anime. The Homura from the movie, that's a whole other story. Then we have our main protagonist Madoka. Also, she went through this amazing transformation during the anime. She was always taunting the viewer. Is she going to become a Mahou Shoujo or not? That's the question I kept asking myself all the time. But then when we got to the final scene where Madoka makes the biggest possible sacrifice and basically becomes a god, If I said that I had respect for Homura, well then I have tons of respect for Madoka. Being doomed to fight witches alone for eternity without anyone recognizing your very existence is a fate that's worse than death. I lack the words to describe the amount of respect I have for Madoka and to describe how amazing of a character she was, one of the best I have seen till today. Now at one hand we had Homura, who made the transition from an evil character to a good character. On the other hand, we had Kyubi. This little motherfucker made the complete opposite transition. He started out as this guardian angel of the Mahou Shojos who helped them in their job, but then as we start to discover more and more about the dark side of the medal, he became such a hated character. The way he literally uses the Mahou Shojos and how he keeps pushing Madoka to become one made me hate him so much. And the fact that he has only one facial expression like he doesn't give a fuck didn't do that any good. What happened to him in the movie was more than deserved, but also about that more later on. But being this depressing can be a major turnoff for some viewers, because there's nothing but sadness and depression in this anime. From Mami's death, Sayaka turning into a witch, Kyoko sacrificing herself, seeing Madoka die over and over again in these time lapses and so on. In most drama animes, the sadness is usually countered by comedy. The comedy acts like a counterweight to balance out the anime. But fuck comedy in Madoka. There is absolutely no comedy in this anime that can act as a counterweight. It's just full on depression from episode 3 till the end. Another thing some people may have trouble with is the art style. Madoka was a small budget anime because no one expected it to become so hyped. So the art style of the characters is special and may be a turn-off. This problem, however, is solvable by watching the first 2 movies instead of the series. The 2 movies are the series but with better animation, so you can choose which one you want to watch. So as a conclusion, Madoka was a blast. I didn't expect that the last anime I would watch this year would be this good. It's the epiphany of don't judge a book by its cover, and that's why I'm going to rate Puella Magi Madoka Magica at 4.5 out of 5 stars. It's a must watch for every anime fan, so I definitely recommend it. Then my thoughts on the third movie, Rebellion. The first 15 minutes of this anime, I was so confused. I mean, nothing made sense, and I was wondering if we were in a different timeline or something like that. Everything was so happy and cheerful yet again. But after these initial 15 minutes, I felt a mood change. The atmosphere suddenly dropped back to this depressing mood from the series, and I thought, oh damn, here we go. So the main story about Homura living in this fake world because she's slowly turning into a witch because she can't cope with Madoka being gone forever was a good main storyline, but I want to focus on the ending of the movie. About 20 minutes before the ending, I thought that the main storyline was solved and that I had figured out the movie. But then I saw the time progress and saw that there was 20 minutes left, and I thought by myself, shit, something's going to happen, right? And then we get this moment where Homura fuses with Madoka to become basically the devil and to alter the laws of the universe yet again. That was so fucked up and I didn't see it coming. It hit me straight out of the blue. And now after seeing what Homura did, I am so divided on her. I don't know if I have to like or hate her. On one hand, I hate her for what she did because it seems so selfish. But on the other hand, I don't hate her because in the end, she did keep her promise to Madoka, not letting her become a Mahou Shoujo. So I still haven't figured out what I have to think about her. I must say I liked the ending of the series better than the ending of the movie, simply because of the fact that it's an open ending. There needs to be a 4th movie, because it's also hinted at the end that Madoka still remembers that she's a god, so that needs to be solved. And as last, a small word about the last shot of the movie of QB. For 1 second I actually felt sorry for him. But it was literally 1 second, that fucker deserved it. So my conclusion on the movie. It is true what they say, that you haven't seen Madoka yet if you haven't seen the movie. But I like the series ending better, and that's why I'm going to rate it at 4 out of 5 stars. And lucky for us, that 4th movie that I spoke about could become a reality sooner than later, because 2 days ago an article appeared on Anime News Network saying that the creators of Madoka are working on a new Madoka project, so who knows? I will leave a link to the article in the description box. And finally, for my recommendation, if you enjoyed Madoka, then I definitely recommend watching Gakugurashi. Also, this is an anime where you mustn't be misled by your first impression. It's a fucked up anime just like Madoka and one of my favorites of the past year. And with that I conclude my final review of the year of Puella Magi Madoka Magica. As usual, you can find the full list of all my animes and reviews over at Anime Planet. As usual, I will put a link in the description box down below. Now if you want me to review a particular anime from this list, please put them in the comments. Also, if you have a recommendation for me, put them in the comments as well. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, visit me on Facebook and subscribe to this channel for more reviews in the future. I will say arigatou gozaimasu and I will see you all in the next video.